Hello, hello. Welcome to What's Working Now. I am your host, Katie Richardson, today with a YouTube expert, somebody who has been in this industry for quite some time. And we all know that platform has shifted and changed so many times. And so I'm super excited to talk to our guest, Nate Woodbury. Nate is the creator of the Leaf Strategy Method on YouTube. And he's producer of 27 YouTube channels. Nate, that is a lot. That's a lot of management. I'm so curious to talk to you. They generate massive leads and revenue for expert businesses. This is so cool. Nate Woodbury, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to chat with you.
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for 15, 16, 17 years, and YouTube has been around for a lot of that time, right? There's always these platforms and things that pop up and opportunities and changes. And so I'm super excited to dive into YouTube with you today. And before we jump into that, I want to get a sense for you and who Nate Woodbury is and how he sees the world. So tell us the story of an experience that has really formed and shaped how you view the world today.
Interesting. So, I could talk about this for hours. I won't do that, but I'll share. I grew up in a town outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, a neighborhood where everyone was an employee, and I didn't know that there was any other option. And then when I was around 12, a new family moved into my neighborhood, and he was a dentist. He became my scout leader, young men's leader as well, and was just such a good influence on me. I earned my Eagle Scout by the time I was 13, and I was
Wow.
still too young to even receive it, so I had to wait till I had my 14th birthday to
Okay.
receive that award. But I attribute a lot to him, and so in that, and I saw that he's different, like he's not an employee. And I actually set my sights. I thought I was going to become a dentist. I got a degree in human biology, and
Mm.
it was in my senior year that I recognized it was really the business side of things that I was attracted to, not necessarily the medical side. And a book, it was kind of a compilation book of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, where Robert
Yeah.
Kiyosaki really helped me understand the difference between being an employee, self-employed, or a business owner. And just things started to click, and it's like, this is what I want. So I started to learn business and entrepreneurship, and I've loved it. I got my degree in human biology, but I've really just found this passion, and I really like thinking of the words. I get emotion. Like, I believe entrepreneurship is noble.
Yeah.
I love the journey, and it's not an easy journey. This company that I've had now is 12 and a half years. And I'd say the first 8.5 years were pretty rough, a financial roller coaster.
Sure.
But would I trade it? No. It was, I feel like I've grown. I feel like I've learned so much, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. So from a young age, learning from your scout master, seeing there's something different about him, and then realizing, oh, he's a business owner and that's different. And there's something about that was exciting and interesting to you. And even as you were on this path to become a dentist and kind of remembering that, like, oh, I think it's actually the business component. I think making part of what is so beautiful about this story is you're making these distinctions. Sometimes we think we're moving towards something, we think we're headed in that direction, and we can realize, oh, I'm like making some assumptions, or it's not fully defined and it's not distinct enough. And once we kind of pull it apart and we see this distinction, oh, I thought I wanted to be a dentist. What I really want is to be the business owner in the industry. And so it caused you to make some new decisions. And even as you were making those new decisions 8 years into your business, and it was not easy, it was a roller coaster. And anybody who has owned a business has been on that roller coaster ride with you,
Mhm.
right? And it's so uncomfortable, it's so painful. But what I can hear from you is you're learning along the way, and you're applying those learnings as you go. And it now has put you in a position where you're generating massive leads for very big companies. And you're the guy, like, you are the expert the people seek out. And you now have this expertise, the wisdom that comes from that 8 years of a roller coaster, which Not everybody has the stomach for that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have developed the ability to really stomach the discomfort of that. And you have learned from that and the wisdom that comes from that. So today you're...
One thing I want to just share, a little bit of a tangent, but it really relates. So there's the Disney movie Moana. It's actually one of my favorite movies. I love it because it speaks to me. Here this island princess, she had the responsibility, and her father's trying to teach her, this is what you need to do, these are your responsibilities, and she wanted to honor that. She felt like, you're right, this is my responsibility, I want to take it seriously. But on the other hand, there was this voice inside calling her out to the sea. And it's like, logic and reason were speaking to me during this time of struggle. Like even my mom, I went to her one time, I needed to borrow money, a really hard thing to do. And she says, Nate, why don't you just get a job? And it's like, because there's this voice calling me out to the sea. I feel like I'm on this path for a reason. I feel like I've learned so much, and it's going to happen one day, just Moana went out to the sea. She went out to the sea, ended up saving the island, and it ended up helping her better serve her people. And, I look back today, I am at a level of success that I don't have to stress anymore. I had a 7-figure year last year, and I've helped my clients. I'm in a place like you've mentioned. I help my clients generate 7 figures and multiple 7 figures from YouTube leads in their business. And so I'm passionate about it. I love the journey that I'm on. It's still a journey. It's not always easy still, but I love where I'm at, and that I can help other people do the same.
Thank you for taking the time to share that. I love that movie as well. And when I went to see it, I bawled my eyes out the whole time because the sea was calling me in my life at that time. Oh, Nate, this is awesome. So, when you are in this process of figuring things out and you have those difficult moments where you have to reach out to a family member and ask, it's easy to think, am I being crazy? Should I be more realistic? And yet that calling kept you going. And I just want to point that out. There are many times in an entrepreneur's journey where it's not a constant rocket ship ride to the moon. There are times when, there's dips, and it's easy to question ourselves, question that voice, question that calling. And it takes a lot of faith to continue to step into the dark and move forward. And I just want to encourage anybody who's listening to know that, like, I've been at those points, Nate's been at those points. And it's up to you, right? Nobody can make that decision for you whether or not to keep going. But I've experienced this. I mean, our family, we moved to Puerto Rico recently, and we're living a life that I couldn't even dream of not that long ago. And, really amazing things can happen when we choose to keep going and listen to that calling. So thank you for highlighting that, Nate. And thank you for just being so present. That was amazing. Welcome. Yeah. So you have learned the skill, the art, the science of YouTube. And I am so curious and so fascinated, because that's a platform that's been around for so many years, and it's constantly shifting and changing. And I think people say, it's not relevant anymore. It's changed so much that, and yet you yourself are generating millions of leads, millions of dollars. Are you open to sharing with us? I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the money, the big numbers, the likes, the follows. How is what's happening in your business, how is that impacting your life?
It's fulfillment. I love the power of influence and making a difference in other people's lives. The type of business owners that I work with have that same focus. They get fulfillment from the same place. And so the more I help them, I get fulfillment by helping them and seeing how they're able to influence the world for good. So that's the biggest part of it, is it's fulfillment. It feels like I'm making a difference.
I mean, that's the greatest gift, right? That is the greatest gift, when you can generate the resources, the impact, and do it in a way that it's fulfilling. it's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So incredible. So let's dive into YouTube. Give us a lay of the land. How does YouTube work right now today? What are
Okay.
kind of levers, things that we should be aware of, considering, thinking about when it comes to playing the game on YouTube?
So I want to prepare you that the strategy that I teach and implement is quite different from all the other YouTube experts or gurus out there. And so I can give a foundation of why I think differently. Part of it is because my audience is different. Most YouTube channels take advantage of YouTube ad revenue, because that can be pretty significant. If you get millions of views, you can make thousands of dollars monthly. And those type of channels are entertaining. There's a lot of vlogs or just adventure channels, or just one of the biggest channels out there that I follow is Mr. Beast. It's almost to 100 million subscribers, makes millions and millions of dollars every episode. And that's not the type of content I create, or the type of revenue that we focus on. We don't really focus on, I mean, it's a nice icing on the cake to get ad revenue, but all of the channels that we produce are for businesses, and again, expert businesses. So they're sharing their expertise in these videos, typically how-to videos. If it's a how-to topic, like how to get your kids to listen without yelling, or how to invest in real estate with no money, or how to get rid of strep throat without antibiotics. We make videos like these on these topics. People are searching for them, and we can talk more about that, but they're not typical videos that will get millions of views. Some of our videos do, but it's not our expectation to get results. In fact, I filmed a new course with one of my clients, Noelle Randall, last week, and she was sharing, one time I launched a video, and in the first day or two, it got 12 views, but those 12 views generated one lead. And by the end of the week, we might have had 100 views that generated about 10 leads.
Get out.
And of those 10 leads, I had several strategy sessions, and she sells between a $5,000 and a $10,000 coaching program to about 30% of them. So it's like the impact that we have. So kind of getting off on a tangent there, but maybe to go back to what I was saying in the beginning about my strategy is different. I love results, and I focus on results. And going back about 8-9 years ago, I had a web design service and a website SEO service, getting those web pages ranked #1 on Google. My service worked. So I had clients' pages ranking #1 on Google. Let me say it was hard work. It was complicated. There were so many moving parts, from link building and blog commenting and all this stuff on the web page, and infographics and Pinterest, like all this stuff, just to get that page ranked on Google. One of the little pieces of that web page was a how-to video. Well, one day I noticed that how-to video over on YouTube was getting 50 times more views than this web page ranking #1 on Google.
Wow.
I've done all that work, but I found better results elsewhere, and I didn't have to promote that video or push it or anything. And so I stumbled across my strategy that I've refined and that I teach today, this leaf strategy, I call it. I love the results. And so over time I shifted, because I found here's a much easier way, a much more predictable, efficient way, less competition, that I can get results. I can generate interest and views and leads and traffic, and I don't have to do all this complicated stuff. So shortly thereafter, I closed down those other services, even though they were working. I just loved the results better. So
okay, can we just take a minute there? Because sometimes when we pour so much energy and money and resources and time into something, to see that it could have been done an easier way, it can almost be tempting to turn a blind eye to it. It's like, well, I put all this money and time and energy into building this website and then doing all these ancillary things, that I'm just going to keep going in that direction. And you were like, you know what? I did all this work. And the cool thing is, I discovered there's a way simpler way to get even better results. And so you let go of all of the things that you had been doing that you had invested in time and money, and you focused on the thing that was way simpler.
Mhm.
Like we just needed to take a second and focus on that, because I think oftentimes it's easy to just keep doing what we've been doing because we've poured so much time and money into it. And you were like, you know what? We're just going to cut it off, cut my losses, and I'm going to go over here.
Yeah, and it was a hard decision. I tried to hire somebody else to run kind of the previous
Okay.
division of my company for me, and ultimately I just wanted to focus on the new thing that was getting the results. And I'm glad I did, because it's what's working now. It
Yeah.
um you know, a lot of companies will still say website SEO is important, but based on the results that I can get and the time and effort that I can put into it, I've just left that behind. I don't even do that stuff on my own website now. So
Okay. And specifically at that time, it was a how-to video. Is that still like the most popular? And I'll say all those how-tos that you were just listing to us a couple
mhm.
minutes ago, I was like, I'd click on that and I would click on that. They were great.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
So
part of the
yeah, so
strategy.
here's the thing. My like getting the website ranked on Google, that was about kind of building up like or inflating my value and the size of my website
Okay.
and the authority. It's kind of like trying to trick the Google search engine, trying to find loopholes. And this whole strategy, it was so easy for me to make the shift to really embrace what I did on YouTube, because the focus is creating content that people want and that people are searching for, and that's it. I just
Okay.
and I there's a tool that I use to find the questions that people are asking,
So good. So
so
you're
that
not
I
just
can.
making videos, you're going to see what people are searching for, and then you
Right.
make a video that's popular, that would lead people to your client's business, and then you make a
Mhm.
how-to video. So good. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I mean, a lot of people will think, well, I just made a really good video. I already know it's super valuable. Hey, Nate, can you do some SEO stuff and get my website traffic? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. But
Yeah.
if I find like I don't even use the term SEO anymore. I
Okay.
research and I find the questions that people are asking, and
Yes.
that becomes the title of my video. And I look for specific questions. I like them when they're long and specific, because it's rare that I'm going to have any competition. The more specific it is, the less competition there is.
So then
So
your
I know
click
I
cost
can.
is less. Is that,
Yeah,
or you get more
but I'm not
eyeballs?
I'm not paying for traffic.
Okay.
That's kind of the magic is
Oh,
I make content that people are searching for, and then the YouTube search engine, the Google search engine, they want to provide people what they're searching for.
okay. Wait, this is a light bulb moment for me. So YouTube as a search engine, and you are discovering the things that people are searching for on YouTube
Mhm.
specifically and Google, and you're pointing them to your video that is titled exactly what they're typing into Google and searching for. So
Exactly.
good. And so simple. And now that you point that all out, now it's obvious, but
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, love it. Thank
The,
you.
the other thing that is kind of counterintuitive, especially from the world we used to come from with talking about keywords and ranking for this phrase that gets 10,000 searches every month,
Mhm.
I might find a question, and I'll just say like how to get rid of strep throat without antibiotics as an example. Let's say that
So
only
good.
gets searched 20 times in a month. That
Okay.
seems so small,
Uh-huh.
but somebody that is detailed enough to type in, I believe that's 9 words in that question. So if there are people that are detailed to type that in,
Yeah.
whether Google or YouTube, and then my video pops up and they're like, "Oh, that's exactly what I searched for."
Yeah.
They're going to watch my video all the way to the end, and that impresses the YouTube algorithm. So YouTube now knows, these 20 people found this video and liked it. These other people are asking, searching for similar things. Let's show this video to them as well. And so over time, you start to get more and more traffic.
Okay.
But if I would have gone after a phrase that had 5,000 searches in a month, there's a lot of competition probably for that topic, and I'm not going to get any views. The algorithm's not going to
Okay.
be impressed. I could have Steven Spielberg produce a video,
Yeah.
but even Hollywood, they don't get any views on their videos unless they promote it and they have their actors go out on all the talk shows and billboards and trailers that they send out, and the theaters are marketing and stuff finally for them to. So what all we have to do is partner with these search engines, YouTube and Google. And by the way, I keep mentioning Google because Google owns YouTube.
Yeah.
People can go and ask that how-to question on Google, and Google will point you to a YouTube video.
Yeah.
In most cases, so it really works well. And the viewers that come from this type of traffic, they become like they become like a tribe of people that love you and that see you as their hero. And with a low number of views, you start to generate leads. You start to generate interest. I mean, they go to your, because we're not, these aren't sales videos. We're answering their questions. So these videos are giving away value. At the end of the video, I'll give you an example from Noelle. She's a client of mine, Noelle Randall, that teaches Airbnb real estate. So she gets to the end of one of her videos where she's answered one of their questions. And she says, hey, if you found value in this video, I want to give you this book, a book that goes into a lot more detail of my strategy. You can have it for free as long as you cover the shipping costs. So I'll put that link below, or she'll even tell them the domain and say, go get that book. So she gives them value in the video. Then she offers them this free plus shipping book, and they enter their contact information. And so she'll send them an email to nurture them. The next day, another email. The next day, hey, would you like to jump on a call and have a strategy session with me? And so she gets them on the phone that way. So it works really well.
And all organic.
All organic, yeah.
I love. I mean, I started in the physical products business, 15, 16, 17 years ago. Today I have a coaching practice, but organic traffic, like you're describing, those people are disciples. Like they love you and they will share you with everybody. And so instead of the revenue that's coming in, half of it going to Facebook to pay for ads, like you're keeping that money. Like it's a different game. And maybe the top number is smaller, but your profit is exponentially greater because you're not paying and competing, like you keep pointing out, competing with everybody else. And one of the other things that I'm loving about what you're sharing is how niched down you are and how specific you are. We keep thinking that to play the game and to have big revenue in our business, that we have to have big numbers of views and big numbers of likes. And you keep emphasizing the power of small and niche, and how when you're really niched down and you're so specific in your YouTube title and your how-to, that you might have an overall smaller number, but the people that are coming to you, or the percentage of potential clients, is way greater than when you're trying to appeal to everybody. And the other thing that I'm wondering, and it sounds like you're saying, is you're playing the long game, right? It's like, yes, maybe the first month you only get 20 views, but it doesn't take very much time for that to build, I'm guessing. And it starts to compound. Is there some, I don't know what the number would be, like some exciting point where you're like, okay, YouTube really likes us, and now we are getting exponentially greater views month over month? Is there like a window of time that typically takes? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it even 12 months? What does that usually look like?
Yeah, typically if you've already got a profitable business, then you'll start to generate leads pretty quickly. I mean, if you get 100 views on the video and these are people that you've given value to, if you have a good call to action, you'll start to generate leads even in the beginning. When we are really reaching a point where momentum starts to build, it starts to pick up, typically it never happens in the first 4 months. I don't know why, but the first 4 months are kind of the most boring. But as you get into month 5, 6, and 7, that's really where the momentum starts to pick up. And just to give you a specific example with Noelle that I mentioned earlier, and because it fits in with what you're saying, comparing it to Facebook ads, prior to doing this strategy on YouTube, that's what she did, is Facebook ads, and it was really working. She was selling like her coaching for this real estate training. And through Facebook ads, she had grown her business to a 7-figure level, just crossed that $1 million threshold. Well, within a few months of doing this YouTube strategy, the leads that she was getting, because they were coming from our organic source, they came to her like way interested, She just
Yeah.
turned off all of her Facebook ads. And I mean, that's pretty significant considering it was
Yeah.
really working, but YouTube started working better. For Noelle, we had a conversation 7.5 months in, and she says, I've got a 2.5 month waiting list on strategy sessions now. I've got more than I can handle. I know we're going to keep growing. I'm going to continue to, I'm going to, find ways of scaling up. And she did. And what, it's kind of funny because 3 days after that conversation, she had one of her videos that really took off, and it quadrupled the number of leads that were coming in. So it's pretty fun. But I mean, that was at the 7.5 month mark. So
Okay. Which I think is important. And I have seen this pattern in entrepreneurship in my businesses. If something's going to be really good, it can take a little bit of time in the beginning. And if we can just be a little bit patient and keep walking through the process that, especially working with an expert like you, we know will eventually work and really hit, like you were describing, that it pays in dividends, right? And it becomes so valuable and so worth it. So
when you create a video that follows this pattern that I'm talking about, I'll give you another example, and it just so happens that it's kind of real estate. There's a guy named Ted, who really narrow niche, way more narrow than Noelle. One of his video titles was how to purchase tax deed. It's either tax deed or tax lien. How to purchase tax lien properties in Florida. So a real specific type of property in a specific location. And I remember the numbers of this video. It was averaging about 1 view every day, so about 30 views per month. And
wow.
About 60 days in, when we look at the analytics, which by the way, YouTube shows you all the numbers. It's so detailed, you can really understand what's happening. At about the 60-day mark, it started to increase. And after a few days, it averaged out. Now we are getting about 20 views per day. Now that happened about a year ago. Okay. And you look at the video today, I don't remember the exact number, but it's more than 20 views a day. Like, it's just continued to gradually increase over the last year. And it will for the next year and year after that. Every video that we create, it starts out, I call it a trickle of traffic. You put out a video and you're getting this trickle of traffic, valuable traffic, that over time is just going to gradually build momentum. But you put out another video that's a trickle, and another video brings in another trickle. Eventually you've got enough videos that it adds up to a fire hose of traffic.
So good. Something you haven't even mentioned and haven't even brought up, and I'm curious how this plays into getting these kinds of results, is subscribers. Like, do you not even need to have any subscribers, a significant amount of subscribers, to start getting these views and these kinds of results?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the subscriber number, it is kind of a vanity metric, but at the same time, the more subscribers you have generally does translate into more views. And so we watch that, but you don't generate leads based on the number of subscribers. So for most other, here's an example. I'll compare, I was sitting, I'll just share, I was down and we were doing a unique filming project down in Cabo San Lucas. And I was with a guy named Chris and a guy named Grant. We were sitting in a hot tub together, and Grant had a channel with 11 million subscribers, and he shared openly his revenue numbers. He was making revenue from YouTube advertising and from sponsorships, and his revenue was averaging around 300,000 per month. And Chris, who was producing, I produced his channel, and we were making this how-to type content. At the time of this conversation, we had about 160,000 subscribers. So 11 million compared to 160,000. And yet the business revenue from Chris's channel was about 600,000 a month. It's just kind of interesting to look at that. So, 160,000 is pretty significant, but it seems puny when compared to some of these other channels. But when you have a business behind it, it can be a lot more profitable.
Well, this is exciting to me because sometimes it can feel like, I've been in the game long enough that you see a platform like YouTube, and in the beginning, it's the wild, wild west. And it's like, you can generate significant amounts of traffic for very little money, and like very instantly you're the top dog in your category. And it can be easy to watch all of that and be like, the game has changed, and therefore I missed my opportunity in YouTube. And yet what I'm hearing you say, Nate, is the exact opposite, that there's still so much opportunity, even for the quote little guy who doesn't have millions of subscribers and who is really strategic about how you utilize the platform. And if you can be really strategic, you could be sitting in the hot tub with a guy who has exponentially more followers than you, yet you're bringing in double the revenue a month than he is, which is so cool. Thank you for sharing that example. I think it's easy to get caught up in the big numbers, the vanity numbers, like you talked about, and feel like, oh, I'm not there yet. Like I haven't, and I never will be. And yet, if you're strategic both about what it is that you want and why you're utilizing a platform and how you're using it, you can be generating significant amounts of revenue for your business and leads and helping even more people without playing the game that everybody else is playing. So you mentioned at the beginning, you have this LEAF method for somebody who's listening to this and like, can I just skip to the front of the line? Like, Nate clearly knows what he's doing. And I'm guessing, like, are there multiple ways somebody can come into your world and learn this strategy? Do you consult with people? Do you have programs? What would be the best way for somebody to kind of learn this LEAF method?
Yeah, the simplest way is my own YouTube channel, Nate Woodbury on YouTube.
Okay.
I wish it was ready, and it's not, but I'll announce it anyway. I just recorded, when I speak from stage, I have a training that I give that really paints a good picture, and everyone walks away from that saying, now I get it. Now I know exactly what to do. And I don't know why I haven't thought of this until now, but I've recorded it into a video format.
Okay.
It's recorded. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to have a short link. It'll eventually, if people want to write this down, and in the next few weeks keep checking back, natesfreetraining.com. That's the place I'm going to be able to send people to really get the full picture and understand the ins and outs of this strategy. natesfreetraining.com. So
good. And can you give us a short list of what are the industries, expert businesses, products, like who does this work for?
Great question, because you're right. It doesn't work for everybody. So I'll list off the categories, and maybe I'll give you one example of how, like a business that I'm thinking of, that it may or may not work. So, but anyone who is a coach or a speaker who provides consulting or has written a book, like a book where they share their expertise, like a how-to, type book. They have courses that they've created that they sell, or they have a membership site that they're a part of. That's a wide variety of businesses that can include. The example that I have, a year and a half ago, I was in a piano store and was shopping for a upgraded piano. The one that we had was just a test to see if we'd continue with piano lessons, and it was real twangy. So I was like, all right, they took it seriously. Let's get a better piano. And I was talking to the husband and wife own this store. I was talking to the wife. I forget their names. And just in conversation, she was asking me about what I did and learned what I did for YouTube. And she's like, I got to introduce you to my husband. Let's talk about this. And so the husband joined the conversation, and we were talking, and they were getting pretty excited because they learned about what I had done for other businesses and lead generation and whatnot. And I thought of a lot of ways, like, okay, because they also have a big repair section of their business. They'll have people from across the country ship over this antique grand piano, and they'll restore it over a couple months and ship it back. And so I thought, there's a lot of people, if you want people to know about you could just teach how to do different things in restoring piano. They also had a piano lesson side of their business. And I say there's a lot of people. I've done the keyword research and found questions like how to play Stairway to Heaven on the piano. They could just put out that free training on YouTube. And so I saw a way that they could really get their name out there, but in their mind, they didn't connect. It's like, well, we need people locally that are going to come here for this, and we need, we don't want to help everybody teaching them how to repair the piano. We repair them, So any business that really want, or even a dentist, like most dentists just want people to come in and have their teeth cleaned and drilled and filled. But if they actually wanted to teach about dental care and oral hygiene and stuff like that, well, then it could be a really good fit for businesses. And it depends on, what would you sell to them, that type of thing. So it
Yeah.
can apply to a wide range of businesses that are willing to offer their expertise.
Yeah. So good. What would you say to somebody who is like, this sounds amazing, and I don't have a good camera, I don't have a good microphone, I'm really uncomfortable on video? I'm sure you've had clients come to you and think, YouTube could be really good for us, but I don't want to turn on that camera on me. What do you say to somebody like that?
Well, the real answer is today you do have a good camera. It's sitting in your pocket or your purse, your phone, right? It really is a really good camera, and you don't have to be scripted. You don't have to be polished. Imagine somebody called you on the phone or on Zoom or FaceTime, and they asked you a question. And so you just talk to them conversationally and answer their question. And you record your conversation. That's the type of, like, if people watch a YouTube video like that, where you're just talking to them and telling them how it is and giving them genuine advice, that will really build a relationship. So don't stress. Don't let the equipment be the excuse to slow you down. You can pull the phone out of your pocket, stand in front of a window so you've got some decent lighting on you, and film in landscape mode if it's going as a regular episode on your channel. You can do some simple edits. Like if you've got an iPhone, iMovie is free. You can clip the ends, and you could chop out the pauses in there just to keep it moving along. But you can actually get started as simple as that. Just answer these questions following my leaf strategy, and you can start to generate leads right now.
We really do live in the most amazing time in the history of the world, where like everything you need literally is in your pocket. And it's so exciting and terrifying all at the same time. And so, yeah, I would echo what Nate just said, like pull it out, hit record, put it up there. You never know. You might be just like that client who 5 months from now, maybe you even forgot about it. And 5 months from now, all of a sudden you're getting all these people pinging you, emailing you. And I mean, I've worked with a lot of businesses over the years, and that's one of people's biggest pain points is traffic, right? I got a great product. I know my product works. I just need more people. And traffic is a major issue, contributor or deficit in your business. And so it's something that we need to have a handle on, and we need a strategy. And YouTube is absolutely incredible. It's super exciting. Like, I'm really excited about what you taught today, and I'm excited to bring this to my team and to be like, hey, we've been putting stuff on YouTube. Let's be more strategic, because Nate just shared some really incredible things. And so I'm excited and really appreciate you sharing all of this. If
Yeah,
you have
you're
a couple
welcome.
minutes, can we jump into a few rapid fire questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. So what's something that you do consistently every day?
There is one or maybe two things that I do every day, and that is I read my scriptures and I say prayer. I connect with God, and if I do that in the morning, then I know I've gotten my day started right. I make sure to do that every day.
I love it. Awesome. What's a book that you frequently revisit, or maybe have on your nightstand that you open frequently?
The book, The E-Myth Revisited, it's a very popular book. The letter E stands for entrepreneur. I love recommending that one to other people. I've listened to it on audio many times, it's helped teach me how to systematize my business and how to work on my business instead of in it, so that I'm able to stay a creator and an innovator instead of just going through the motions of this job I've created for myself.
Yeah, such a good book. The first time I read it, I was like, I'm a technician and I like being a technician. Like, it was really hard for me to pull out of that
Hmm.
because, yeah, as a designer and a creator, I liked the process of making things, but you can't scale your business if you're just always there. Such a good book. Has there been some good advice that you've received along the way that's really helped you?
Um, One that I always go back to, and it's popular, like the done is better than perfect. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, a friend of mine, Chris Krimitsos, there's a book I've got on my shelf here. It's called Start Ugly, which I think is the exact same principle that if we wait until we're polished and perfect before we jump on YouTube, for example, we're actually never going to get there, or it's going to be so far down the road that just get started. And yeah, we might, if we would make the video better, we might, get 90% of the results, versus right now if we launch it we might only get 50%. But the reality is it's going to take us forever. It's going to take us forever to get there, or it's not going to happen. Just get started.
Love that. And it is super applicable to creating YouTube videos. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, what goes on in all areas of our life, they all influence the business and the revenue. And so you can answer this one however you would like, but what's working now?
Yeah, I think from the conversation we've having about YouTube, it's important to, and just for all social media, we can get caught up in like the bright shiny objects or this new platform or whatnot. Um, but what works now and what always works, whenever there's an algorithm change of any platform, the content that I create today, it still continues to work because I'm creating content that people are searching for. Um, and that's my focus. I'm focusing on the person that's watching it, not necessarily the platform. One day YouTube might disappear, or all the platforms, might be completely different. Something's going to have to take them over, or overtake them. But if you think about it from creating content that people want and are searching for, in order for YouTube or Google to be replaced, there's going to have to be a better platform or a better search engine. And so we'll just have that content and we'll use it there.
Yeah, so good. What's working now is creating content that people are already searching for.
Yeah.
So simple, yet so profound. Nate Woodbury, this has been absolutely incredible. For somebody who is wanting that course, wanting to connect with you, I don't know if you use Facebook or Instagram. I know you probably use YouTube, follow you on YouTube. Where are the places that people can find you?
Yeah. So my YouTube channel, Nate Woodbury. My website is betheherostudios.com. And in the coming weeks, natesfreetraining.com. We'll see you there.
Awesome. And we'll have links to those in the show notes. And for everybody who's listening, this is what's working now.